Welcome back to Nuclear News. The world is scrambling to find scarce uranium wherever it can. Obviously, it can't. We've been covering the unfolding supply crunch, the multi-decade supply crunch ahead of us, and the multi-decade nuclear renaissance ahead of us. And so at this point, we're just watching the thesis play out, watch the price action, watch the incredible news unfolding every single week. So let's dive through this week's headlines, see what's next for the space. First up, price action. Sprott Uranium Miners ETF up 11.54% year to date. Your juniors are finally outperforming the bigger cap assets, right? Just a matter of time before the market starts to discover these earlier stage, higher upside, smaller market cap assets. Sprott Junior Uranium Miners ETF up 17.81% so far this year, first few weeks. The S&P 500 broader stock market only up 3%, right? So uranium massively outperforming for good reason. And this chart comes from Game of Trades. URA, which is uranium ETF, looks undervalued relative to spot uranium. So in black, we see the price action of spot uranium. In blue, we see the price action of the ETF. And so there's a massive divergence as the higher the spot price goes, the more valuable these assets are. And so price action hasn't even started catching up for these assets. But that's what's exciting, right? That's the opportunity potentially. Miners aren't producing enough uranium. So the uranium they do have is scarcer and scarcer, more and more valuable. This comes from Game of Trades. Mining production in gray. And then the red dot shows the share of world demand met. So the last time the mining production in gray could meet the world demand was in 2015. Since then, we've just been eating into the above ground supply. Now there's nothing left. Now we're only producing about 75% of the current demand. And I've showed you the chart about how for the next few decades, all of the industry experts can't figure out where uranium is going to come to meet projected demand. And so the thesis is just playing out like clockwork. Uranium prices could rally past 16-year highs as the world's largest producer runs short. So without any massive hiccups in the space, without any calamities, we're already in a severe supply crunch. Now we have stuff like this happening. The world's largest miner of uranium is staring at production issues over the next 2 years. Kazakh mining company Kazatomprom cautioned it is likely to fall short of production targets through 2025, accelerating the supply crunch. Kazatomprom is the world's leading uranium miner, accounting for over 1/5 of the world's production. So the market cannot absorb this shortfall. China's CGN Mining provides a preview for Kazakhstan's expected announcement of a significant uranium production miss next week. Q4 2023 results show less than 80% of target achieved and just 86.2% overall. So we're not just anticipating a future decline in production, we're already having shortfalls in production from the world's biggest miner, right? It really doesn't get bigger than this. And to compound the situation, transportation problems are far from improving. Quite the opposite. In this case, Australian uranium will suffer delays in its delivery to converters as well as higher costs. There are so many weaknesses in the nuclear fuel supply chain, right? Wall Street Journal, Red Sea attacks push BHP to divert shipping. Suez Canal container ships crossing, hitting a pretty much all-time low. Clearly, the canal is just blocked right now, causing these resources to be just more and more and more and more expensive. Freight rates spiking aggressively, right? So not great for inflation at all. Obviously, really good for the upward price pressure on uranium of scarce hard asset resources like uranium. So that's the supply-demand picture currently. Let's look at what's going on next. Nuclear power output expected to break global records in 2025. That is demand for uranium expected to break records. EU backs efforts to kickstart rollout of mini nuclear plants. Bloc wants to roll out the nuclear technology in the 2030s. SMRs can help the EU to hit 2040 climate goals, draft shows. Wow, so they are going big into SMRs, just accelerating the massive demand for the scarce resource. Multi-decade play here. GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy awarded government grant to power up SMR plans. $33.6 million from the UK Future Nuclear Enabling Fund. Obviously, big governments pouring money into the space. Ukraine to start building 4 new nuclear reactors this year. So demand increasing. And this is a story that really excites me, but very few people are aware is even taking place. Microsoft hires energy mavericks in quest for nuclear-powered data centers. Industry vets specialize in the development of small modular reactors. The only way humanity is going to get the electricity it needs to power the digital revolution and anything humans want to achieve going forward in terms of space exploration, they're going to need uranium, they're going to need nuclear. Microsoft gets it. Microsoft, probably one of the most valuable companies in the world right now, right? Investing in nuclear, just causing the massive exponential upside of demand for nuclear. Canadian project to develop marine-based nuclear reactors moves ahead. Westinghouse developing a floating nuclear power plant, right? That's why we're still in the early stages of the mass adoption of this brand new technology. U.S. nuclear plants, uranium miners prepare for possible U.S. ban on Russian uranium. To make things even worse, the US is doing everything it possibly can to make the price of uranium more expensive by moving away from Russian uranium, right? We showed how there isn't enough being produced to meet demand. Well, they're making it even scarcer in the West. They're going to pump money into this and pay more than they need to and cause the miners to increase their revenues, right? And so miners, obviously, just a big gold rush right now. Fitch upgrades JSC National Atomic Company Kazatomprom to triple B outlook stable, right? The debt of these companies, the financing of these companies getting more and more favorable. These companies are getting extremely valuable. I hope I'm painting a picture of what is going on. So much going on in this space. Again, the only thing stopping this bull market is some sort of rumor about some sort of nuclear event or dangerous situation caused by market manipulators who want to clear out the levered long positions, right? But that's just short-term volatility again. But that is the upside risk currently because the market's starting to realize that nothing is slowing this market down. And so we get to stay on top of this space.